Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with this. It's not the six-pack, it's not the paycheck, and it's definitely not the smooth talk. Because here's the truth, women may be attracted to charm, but we respect consistency. Think about it. Anyone can post a nice quote on Instagram about "Queens deserve kings," but the man women respect the most, he doesn't just post it, he lives it. Every day, we respect the man who is steady when life is shaky, the man who says what he means, and means what he says, even if it's not always what we want to hear, because honesty with backbone, that is priceless. We respect the man who shows up, not just in the big, romantic gestures, but in the small, ordinary moments. Picking up the call, keeping his word, standing by his principles when no one is watching. That's leadership. That's character. And let me be clear, women don't respect perfection. We don't need you to never fail. What we respect is responsibility. The kind of man who can look at his mistakes, own them, and grow. That man doesn't just lead, he inspires. So, if you're asking yourself, what kind of men do women really respect? It's simple. The men who are consistent in integrity, confident without arrogance, gentle without weakness, strong without cruelty, because in the end, respect isn't earned by being loud, flashy, or feared. It's earned by being dependable, principled, and true. And when a woman sees that in you, believe me, her respect will never be cheap, it will be deep. Thank you. Consistency over charm is one of the most overlooked truths when it comes to the kind of men women respect the most. Charm can be magnetic, it can turn heads, and it can even make a strong first impression, but it is not what earns lasting respect. The reason is simple: charm is often temporary, situational, and sometimes even performative, while consistency is steady, dependable, and deeply trustworthy. Women may smile at charm, but they stand by consistency. When a man is consistent, he communicates reliability without ever needing to boast about it. He shows up on time, keeps his promises, and creates a sense of safety through his actions. Women respect that because it shows discipline and self-respect. Charm might get a woman to notice you, but consistency makes her believe in you. The man who keeps showing up in small ways, returning a call when he says he will, following through on plans, keeping his behavior aligned with his words, is the man who builds a reputation as trustworthy. And respect at its core is tied directly to trust. The reason consistency carries more weight than charm is because life is not lived in highlights. Relationships, work, and everyday life unfold in the ordinary, unglamorous moments. A man who can only shine when the spotlight is on him cannot be relied upon when real challenges come. A charming man may be exciting, but if he is inconsistent, his actions create uncertainty. Inconsistency breeds doubt, and doubt erodes respect. A consistent man, on the other hand, builds a sense of stability. That stability is something women respect deeply, because it allows them to feel secure in the man's character, not just impressed by his appearance. Another reason consistency matters more is because it reveals authenticity. Charm can sometimes be a mask, a rehearsed performance used to impress others, but consistency is impossible to fake for long. If a man is kind, principled, or respectful only when it is convenient, people will see through it eventually. Women respect the man who is the same person in private as he is in public, the man whose values do not shift depending on who is watching. That kind of authenticity cannot be faked with charm, it is proven only through repeated action. Consistency also communicates discipline and control over one's emotions. Life is unpredictable, and people are tested by circumstances that bring out stress, frustration, or disappointment. A man who reacts wildly or unpredictably loses respect quickly, no matter how charming he may be. But a man who consistently handles situations with calm, thought-out responses demonstrates strength. Women respect this because it shows maturity and the ability to lead, not just entertain. There is also an element of emotional safety tied to consistency. Women respect men who are consistent because it allows them to trust that their emotions will not be mishandled. If a man is steady in how he communicates, listens, and responds, it creates an environment where she feels seen and valued. Charm, on the other hand, can sometimes be manipulative, designed to win favor in the moment, but without genuine care behind it. Respect comes when a woman can feel confident that a man's words and actions align, not just when he is trying to impress her. Ultimately, charm is a spark, but consistency is the flame that lasts. Respect grows slowly over time through repeated proof of reliability, authenticity, and strength of character. Women respect consistent men because they know exactly what they stand for, and they know they can count on them to remain steady even when the situation changes. A man's consistency is the true mark of his integrity, and integrity is the foundation upon which real respect is built. Integrity in words and actions is one of the strongest qualities that earns a man respect, not just from women but from everyone around him. At its heart, integrity is about alignment, the alignment between what a man says and what he does. When there is no gap between his promises and his behavior, people know they can trust him. Women in particular respect men who demonstrate this kind of integrity, because it shows not only honesty but also strength of character. Words without actions are just noise, but words backed by consistent action carry weight and authority. When a man speaks with integrity, his words are not just statements, they are commitments. Whether it is as simple as saying he will call back or as serious as pledging loyalty in a relationship, his respectability is measured by whether he follows through. Women notice the difference between a man who says what she wants to hear in the moment and a man who tells the truth, even if it is not the easiest thing to say. The first may sound appealing, but it fades quickly when reality doesn't match the promise. The second may be hard to swallow at first, but it builds long-term respect because it proves the man values honesty over temporary comfort. Integrity also reflects a man's relationship with himself. A man who lacks integrity in his words and actions is often disconnected, saying one thing to impress others while living another reality. Over time, this creates confusion and mistrust. Women respect men who mean what they say because it shows self-respect. He values his own word enough not to throw it around carelessly. It demonstrates discipline, responsibility, and maturity. A man who understands the power of his word knows that every promise he makes is a reflection of his character, and women respect that depth of awareness. This is not to say that a man with integrity will never make mistakes. In fact, integrity shines brightest in how he responds when he falls short. Instead of hiding, blaming, or pretending, he owns up to it. Admitting failure or acknowledging when he cannot deliver is a mark of courage. Women respect men who are honest enough to face their shortcomings rather than pretend they do not exist. That transparency communicates strength, not weakness, because it shows he values truth over appearances. Another dimension of integrity is how a man treats others when no one is watching. It is easy to be polite in public or kind when seeking approval, but a man of integrity maintains the same principles in private. He respects others not for recognition, but because it reflects his values. Women pay close attention to this. If a man is respectful only when it benefits him, his actions reveal manipulation rather than sincerity. Integrity, on the other hand, is steady. It does not shift with circumstances. That steadiness earns respect because it proves that the man's character is not situational. It is part of who he is. Integrity in words and actions also creates a sense of safety in relationships. Women respect men who speak honestly and act in line with their words because it removes uncertainty. Trust grows when she knows his actions will not contradict his promises. This kind of stability allows her to relax and invest her trust more fully. Charm, clever words, or even impressive achievements cannot replace the reassurance that comes from a man who consistently embodies his word. At the end of the day, integrity is not glamorous. It does not always get immediate applause or recognition. But it builds something far more valuable: respect that lasts. A man who carries integrity in his words and actions doesn't need to convince anyone of his worth. His life speaks for him. Women respect this deeply because it demonstrates not only honesty but also inner strength. It shows that he is not trying to be liked for who he pretends to be, but respected for who he truly is. Showing up in the small things is one of the most underrated yet powerful ways a man earns respect. Grand gestures can be dazzling, lavish gifts, dramatic surprises, eloquent declarations, but those are not the moments that determine whether a man is truly respected. Respect is built slowly, through the accumulation of ordinary, everyday actions. When a man consistently shows up in the small ways, it communicates care, attentiveness, and reliability. These are the things that leave a lasting impression. Long after the shine of a big moment fades, small actions matter because they reflect sincerity. Anyone can buy an expensive gift on a special occasion, but it takes real thoughtfulness to notice the details of everyday life. Remembering how she likes her coffee, asking about the meeting she was nervous about, sending a quick message to check in. These are the moments that speak volumes. Women respect men who pay attention in this way because it shows that their presence is not taken for granted. It is easy to be attentive when there is something to celebrate, but showing up consistently in the ordinary is what truly demonstrates commitment. Respect grows out of the trust that these small acts build. When a man follows through on the little things, keeping his word, arriving on time, listening without distraction, he proves himself dependable. These actions may seem minor, but they accumulate into a foundation of trust. Women notice patterns, and consistency in small matters communicates that larger commitments will also be honored. A man who cannot be trusted in the small things will eventually struggle to earn respect in the big ones. On the other hand, a man who proves himself in the details makes it easier for others to believe in his character on a larger scale. There is also a humility in showing up for the small things. It requires effort without the guarantee of recognition. Picking up the groceries, offering a helping hand, or being present in a conversation may not earn applause, but these are the gestures that make life smoother and more meaningful. Women respect men who are willing to do what is necessary, not just what is noticeable. It shows that their sense of responsibility is not fueled by ego, but by genuine care. That humility is a strength, and it leaves a lasting impression. Another reason small actions carry so much weight is that they are authentic. Big gestures can sometimes be motivated by the desire to impress, but small, consistent actions reveal true intention. There is no stage, no spotlight, no audience, just the choice to care. Women respect men who show love and integrity when no one is watching, because it proves that their actions are genuine. Respect is built on authenticity, and authenticity is best revealed through the quiet, unnoticed moments. Small actions also create emotional security. A man who is consistently attentive in the details of everyday life reassures those around him that they matter. A quick text saying, "I'm here," when she needs support, or remembering to follow up on something she shared days ago, shows that he listens and values her presence. These little things create a sense of being seen and understood. That kind of consistency builds a deeper respect than any one-time act of charm or generosity could. Ultimately, showing up in the small things is about character. It is not glamorous or showy, but it is steady and dependable. Over time, these repeated actions communicate who a man truly is. Women respect men who do not wait for the spotlight to demonstrate their worth, but who prove it quietly, every day through the way they live. Respect is not built in a single moment. It is built brick by brick, detail by detail, and the men who show up in those small things create something far greater than admiration. They earn respect that lasts. Accountability and growth are qualities that separate men who are simply liked from men who are truly respected. No one is perfect, and women do not expect perfection. What they do respect, however, is the man who takes responsibility for his actions and uses every setback as an opportunity to grow. Accountability is not about never making mistakes. It is about owning them. Growth is about ensuring that the same mistake is not repeated endlessly, but transformed into a stepping stone for progress. Together, these qualities form a powerful foundation for respect because they demonstrate maturity, humility, and strength of character. When a man practices accountability, he acknowledges his role in the outcomes of his life. Instead of shifting blame onto others, making excuses, or pretending problems don't exist, he steps forward and admits when he is wrong. Women respect this because it shows courage. It is easy to point fingers, it is harder to look in the mirror. A man who can honestly say, "That was my fault and I will fix it," commands more respect than a man who hides behind charm or denial. Accountability reveals integrity. It communicates that his sense of responsibility is greater than his pride. But accountability alone is not enough. What makes it powerful is when it is paired with growth. Growth means taking responsibility one step further, learning from the mistake, making changes, and becoming stronger because of it. Women respect men who do not simply apologize but demonstrate through action that they have learned something valuable. Words can be empty if they are not backed by change. Growth is the proof that accountability is sincere. If a man continually repeats the same patterns without reflection or adjustment, respect begins to fade. But when he evolves, when his actions show that he has absorbed the lesson, his respect grows deeper. There is also a sense of security in being with a man who is accountable and willing to grow. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Women respect men who can face difficulty without crumbling into denial or defensiveness. Instead of hiding from responsibility, they step into it, knowing that every trial is a chance to strengthen their character. That kind of mindset reassures others that even in failure, they will not abandon their duty. Respect is not given to the man who pretends to never fall, but to the one who rises each time with more wisdom than before. Accountability also builds trust because it shows transparency. When a man admits his mistakes openly, it removes the fear of hidden agendas or deceit. Women respect this honesty because it fosters a safe environment. There is no need for guessing games or second-guessing his intentions. His willingness to take ownership creates confidence that he can be trusted in both the good and the difficult moments. Trust is the foundation of respect, and accountability reinforces it. Growth adds another layer of admiration because it shows adaptability and resilience. A man who refuses to learn stays stuck in immaturity, but one who grows proves that he values progress over comfort. Women respect men who can evolve with life, who are not afraid to shed old habits and embrace new wisdom. It shows that he is not stagnant but constantly improving, not only for himself but for the people around him. Growth is a sign of vision. It shows that he sees beyond the present and is willing to invest in becoming better tomorrow. Ultimately, accountability and growth are inseparable. Together they demonstrate a rare balance of humility and strength. Women do not respect men who try to appear flawless or who refuse to admit their faults. They respect the man who is humble enough to admit when he is wrong and strong enough to do something about it. That combination is what inspires loyalty, trust, and deep respect. Because in the end, respect is not about perfection, it is about progress. And the man who takes responsibility for his steps while continually moving forward is the one who earns it. Balanced strength is one of the most admirable and respected traits in a man because it reflects maturity, control, and depth of character. Strength in itself is not enough. Many men confuse dominance, aggression, or arrogance with strength, but those qualities rarely inspire respect. What truly earns respect, especially from women, is a man who understands balance, who can be firm without being harsh, confident without being arrogant, and gentle without being weak. This balance communicates not only power but wisdom, and it shows that he is not ruled by extremes but guided by principles. True strength is not about overpowering others, it is about mastering oneself. A man who cannot control his temper, who lets pride or ego dictate his behavior, may appear strong on the outside but is fragile at his core. Women respect men who show discipline and composure because it demonstrates control. The ability to stay calm under pressure, to respond with thought instead of reacting in anger, is a sign of real strength. Balance here means having power but not misusing it, having the ability to dominate but choosing instead to lead with fairness and compassion. That restraint is what inspires respect. At the same time, balanced strength includes vulnerability. Many men are taught that showing emotions is weakness, but women deeply respect men who have the courage to be open. Vulnerability is not the absence of strength, it is the proof of it. It takes far more courage to express fear, disappointment, or tenderness than it does to hide behind a mask of toughness. A man who can embrace his emotions without being consumed by them shows balance. He is strong enough to protect but human enough to connect. That blend creates trust and admiration. Balanced strength also means being gentle without losing authority. Some men mistake gentleness for weakness, but it is the opposite. Gentleness requires intentionality. It is choosing kindness when it would be easier to ignore, offering patience when frustration rises, or showing compassion when judgment could come quickly. Women respect men who embody this because it shows that their strength is not about making others feel small, but about making others feel safe. It is easy to be harsh. It takes character to be gentle while still holding firm boundaries. That duality is the essence of balanced strength. Another aspect of this balance is confidence without arrogance. Confidence is attractive because it signals self-assurance and clarity, but arrogance undermines respect. A man who constantly needs to prove himself, boast about his worth, or belittle others to feel powerful may appear confident, but he is actually insecure. Women respect men who carry quiet confidence, men who do not need to announce their strength, because it is evident in the way they live. Balanced strength is self-assured but humble, steady but approachable. That humility makes his confidence authentic, not performative. This balance also shows up in relationships. A man with balanced strength does not seek to control or dominate his partner. Instead, he seeks to protect, support, and uplift. He can take the lead when necessary but also respects collaboration and partnership. Women respect men who do not view strength as a weapon but as a responsibility. His strength is not about making others submit but about creating stability and trust. He knows when to stand firm and when to yield, when to defend and when to listen. This discernment is what sets him apart. In the end, balanced strength is about harmony. It is the ability to embody power without oppression, kindness without weakness, and confidence without arrogance. It is strength rooted not in fear or control, but in discipline, integrity, and compassion. Women respect men who live in this balance because it shows they have not only built physical or external strength, but also emotional and moral strength. That balance creates a presence that is steady, dependable, and deeply inspiring. Respect is earned, not demanded, and this truth has stood the test of time. Many men make the mistake of thinking respect comes automatically with status, wealth, or authority, but real respect is not something that can be forced or bought. It is something that grows from character, from consistent actions, and from the way a man treats others. Demanding respect often leads to fear or compliance, but earning respect creates loyalty, admiration, and trust. Women especially understand this difference and deeply value men who build respect through authenticity rather than intimidation. A man who demands respect usually reveals insecurity. He raises his voice, insists on being obeyed, or tries to control others to feel powerful. But the truth is, forced respect is not respect at all. It is submission, and submission has an expiration date. The moment fear fades, so does the illusion of respect. Women see through this kind of posturing because it lacks substance. On the other hand, a man who earns respect does not need to insist on it. His life, his actions, and his consistency speak for him. The quieter he is about demanding it, the louder his presence becomes. Respect is earned when words and actions align over time. A man who honors his commitments, treats people with dignity, and stands firm in his principles builds a reputation that cannot be taken away. Women respect men who show they can be trusted not through one-time displays but through a pattern of integrity. This kind of respect is deep because it is grounded in evidence. It is not based on fear or superficial charm. It is built brick by brick, action by action. Another reason respect must be earned is that it requires humility. A man who understands that he must earn respect accepts that it is not his right but his responsibility. This humility is powerful because it shows self-awareness. He knows that people are watching how he behaves, not just listening to what he says. Women respect men who are humble enough to understand that titles, money, or achievements mean little if the character behind them is empty. Respect grows when power is exercised with wisdom and restraint, not arrogance. Respect is also earned in how a man treats those who can offer him nothing. It is easy to show courtesy to a boss or a potential partner, but the true measure of character is in how one treats the waiter, the janitor, the stranger. Women pay close attention to these moments because they reveal authenticity. A man who treats everyone with dignity, regardless of status, shows that his respect is genuine and not selective. This fairness earns him respect in return because it reflects a moral compass that is not swayed by circumstance. When respect is earned, it creates strength in relationships. Women respect men who do not demand loyalty or obedience, but inspire it through their behavior. Demanding respect often creates resistance, while earning it builds connection. A man who listens, communicates honestly, and shows up consistently does not need to insist on being respected. His actions naturally draw it out. Respect given freely is far more powerful than respect coerced because it is rooted in admiration rather than fear. Ultimately, respect is a reflection of character. It cannot be demanded because respect that is forced is fragile, but respect that is earned is unshakable. Women respect men who understand this and live their lives accordingly. They see the difference between a man who talks about deserving respect and a man who quietly lives in a way that commands it. The first may win obedience for a time, but the second wins admiration for a lifetime. In the end, real respect is not something you take, it is something you inspire.